Underneath this soil is a tool of incalculable value. This ancient device, experts speculate, was once used to send men to the moon. It's a mathematical calculating device that preceded even the pocket calculator. This slide rule profoundly changed the efficiency with which mathematicians could solve problems. Little was known about its functions up until only recently. Dr. Ignatius Galatea has been studying ancient mathematical devices since the annexation of Canada by the United States.
The slide rule is a truly fascinating device. The intricacy of the scaling system allows operations as simple as multiplication and as complicated as logarithms to be accomplished on the same device using the same scales. I find that amazing.
Dr. Galatea, describe to me your first experience with the slide.
Well, actually, I stumbled upon the slide rule by accident. I was investigating other ancient technological devices that were called at the time food processors and such things as that. And this device was brought to me, and there was a speculation that it was used for slicing vegetables and things of that nature. And I thought that was curious, and that, in fact, they can be used for slicing vegetables. Depends on the vegetable and the slide rule. I assume they were adapted to different kinds of vegetables. But then the numerous scales and numbers on the device suggested that perhaps there were at least other purposes for the slide rule. And that's when I started my serious investigations of them, and then have concluded, in fact, they probably weren't kitchen devices, even though they could be used for that in a pinch. But in fact, were probably more likely to be used in scientific calculations and in mathematics.
What about was the time range that these slide rules were used? I've heard it was the 1900s. Does it go back any farther?
They were invented a few centuries before that, as far as we can tell, but came into prominence. In other words, the archaeological record reveals sort of a peak in slide rule concentration in the 1900s and through the 20th century. Of course, the human population was growing at that time too, so maybe that just reflects more people and not more widespread use of the slide rule.
Could you demonstrate some of the actual processes that can be performed on the slide rule?
Oh yes, I'd be happy to. Let's suppose we want to take a sort of a typical, school child problem. We want to multiply 2 times 2. Right. Now that would all be hardwired now for us. We don't even do these kind of calculations.
I was thinking 4 before you actually
that's right.
finished.
I mean,
saying what the problem was.
We're talking ancient technology here. So there's, of course, a multiplicity of scales, and for such a simple thing as multiplication, we used 2 adjacent scales on the sliding part of the slide rule. I don't know if the camera can see it, but one is called the C scale, and one is the D scale. And you'll probably notice that I'm actually holding it upside down. So I'll turn it over so we can see it properly. So to multiply 2 times 2, I would slide the sliding bar and put the 1 that's on the terminal end of the sliding bar above the 2. And then I would slide this device here, which fragmentary, documentary evidence suggests that was called a cursor. The cursor would move above the 2, and lo and behold, right underneath it on the fixed scale is a 4. 2 times 2 is 4. That leads us to wonder, how do we calculate 20 times 20? Well, it became obvious that this device could only deal with what they called the mantissa of the number and not the exponent. You actually have to do extra mental arithmetic in your mind in order to actually get an answer, unlike calculating devices today, which are precise to infinite precision.
Although the slide rule seems to have had an integral role in past mathematics, most people today cannot even differentiate between it and a simple ruler.
It's a ruler. Measures all kinds of stuff.
A ruler? Do you have any idea what it might be used for?
He's got a nice sex toy.
Yeah, I guess that would work.
Measure your penis size.
I was interested in knowing if you can figure out what this is or what it might be used for.
It's a slide ruler. It's used for converting measurements.
What kind of measurements?
Any kind of measurements an engineer would need.
No clue.
No clue? Okay, thank
It's
you.
a ruler.
A ruler.
So what do you use it for?
no idea, but there's a nice exhibit in the library.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there is. By the
Maybe we should go visit that.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a sleeve in front of.
Okay.
Yeah, you use it to measure.
Wait, sleeve in front of?
The sleeve in front of.
Okay,
Yeah. You use it to measure fretoflavins and riboflavins.
Oh, good, because I've been, I have a lot of riboflavins. I haven't
Well,
been
good.
able
You
to
can use
measure.
that sleeve in front of the visceral. Great.
Thank you very much.
Glad I can help
Oh
you out.
man, you're a savior.
Glad I can help you out.
Is it the reflex thing?
A reflexing, and what's that used for?
I don't know. Measure how, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's not a ruler, is it?
It's used for calculus.
Calculus?
Yes.
Always some form of dildo or something. Okay, thanks.
It's a slide calculator. Slide calculator. Yeah.
It was used.
I don't know. Dividing like to the e to the negative 10 power of the chart. I don't know.
It's a ruler of some type.
Do you know what this is, or maybe what it's used for?
No.
Abacus or something?
Oh yeah, abacus, is that what it is? And what is it used for? Do you know?
Some math thing.
Math? Might be used for...
Ruler.
Ruler?
Yep.
Ruler. So is this used for measurement? Or... That's my first guess. Okay, thanks.
Measures earthquakes, man.
Earthquakes?
Currently, multiple mathematicians are vigorously experimenting with the many possibilities of calculations that can be made using the slide rule. Many of the mysteries of the slide rule, though, are yet to be discovered.